themselves, as we are also constantly upgrading ourselves through the eminent speakers who come daily to give us insightful sessions. So I welcome Mona ma'am. A brief introduction. I would like to welcome the principal of BPS, Bhavnagar Public School. Mona ma'am is Vice President of TIE, as well as the Joint Secretary of ECA, and she herself is in this education field past 20 years. So over to you, Mona ma'am. And we start the session.
Okay. Thank you so much for this lovely introduction, Pooja ma'am. And today on this platform, we have with us Greshama Momaya, Miss Greshama Momaya ma'am. And the topic for today is sensorial learning. Before her session, I would like to introduce her and would want to present her lovely profile before all of you. So, Greshama ma'am is a multi-awardee edu leader and parenting expert with a history of working in the space of children and education for more than 15 years. She has many noteworthy achievements to her name. India Star Icon Awardee. She is the Global Goodwill Ambassador of India, Educational Ambassador at 100.org from Finland and UK. She has represented India at Global Education Supplies and Solution Dubai in 2017. She is the ambassador of India for Child, an abuse preventive program. She is the educational advisor at Alok Bautika, Bangladesh, nominated for May Padivadhar Awards, honorable advisor at Sports Association of India. She is a parenting and education expert at firstcry.com, Zedua, and K Junction. She has been invited to speak at various educational conferences in India and abroad. She has successfully completed school leadership course from Harvard University, also titled as Wonder Woman on the Wonder Woman World, obviously, ma'am, awarded as Certified Microsoft Innovative Educator, Certified Educator from UNESCO, UNICEF, Microsoft. Wow, wow, wow. What an impressive profile, ma'am. Can't just wait to hear you. Over to you, ma'am, and welcome to this show.
Thank you, Mona. Thank you for introduction. And thank you for having me here today. Gujarat has a special place in my heart, me being from from Gujarat, and that's why I was very excited to be a part of it. Thank you for warming up all the attendees by asking nice questions, and I think they all are ready to listen to me now. Because we generally use attention grabbers and energizers for children, and that's what you've done for the participants today. So welcome everyone. As you all know, my name is Greshama Momaya. I am based in Bangalore. I am super excited to share whatever I know, whatever I have seen, and whatever I have understood about sensorial learning with all of you, because this topic is very close to my heart. The journey to our never-ending learning begins at birth. A newborn child starts to study the environments through their senses. Now, as soon as the child is born, they start observing. That's why you will always see that babies are, more drawn towards colors or music. Why do we have preschool classrooms so colorful? Why do we use rhymes and music as part of our classrooms? It is because the children are more, attracted towards colors and music. So sensorial learning is actually a natural way to gain knowledge of our environment. Hence, I consider it to be one of the best way to fully immerse the children in their learning or in their education, whatever you are trying to teach them. It is a very natural brain process that can be developed by using sensorial materials. I am sure you all have heard this famous saying by Confucius. He's a great, great philosopher. The saying says that I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. You might have read this saying, at many places on website, on Google, but today you will actually understand why this saying makes so much sense, how you can really implement the saying in your classroom or in your school. And this saying holds true even at the beginning of the learning stage, that is in early childhood. Now, we all know, thanks to the Bonvita ad, we all know that age of 0 to 6 years is a critical learning stage for our young ones. And at this age, children are just like sponges. They absorb information incredibly and so quickly. But you know what? It takes more than a simple chalk and board method or just tell approach to actually grab and hold their attention. We believe that doing and allowing our children to engage in sensorial activities is how they learn the best. They really need to be encouraged to try something new to gain knowledge. They need to be instilled with the confidence to take part in their learning activities. And these abilities should be developed as early as possible, which means in early years where we all are working. So now let's go ahead with our session and let me share my screen. Okay. Are you all able to see my screen? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mona. Now, when I talk about sensorial learning and early years, I am bound to talk about Maria Montessori, my favorite, one of our favorite educators. So she says that the senses, being explorer of our world, opens the way to knowledge. And I believe that this saying could be the best way to start our session about sensorial learning. So, what is sensorial learning? Sensorial learning is a teaching approach that stimulates the child's five senses, that are taste, touch, smell, sight, and hearing. Now, this allows children to use their senses to explore and understand the world around them. This includes activities that help them study objects, colors, textures, taste, numbers, situations. So much a child can learn from sensorial learning. And by participating in sensory activities, children can consciously obtain clear information that helps them classify their surroundings. And now, further, these classification act as stepping stones to organized intelligence, which further gives children the ability to adapt to the environment. Dr. Maria Montessori believed that our intellect and our knowledge about the world, has their beginning from the senses. And as human beings, we all are sensorial, whether children, adult, whoever, we all are sensorial. We all absorb our knowledge about the world through seeing, through hearing, touching, smelling, and tasting whatever is around us. Through our senses, we collect all the necessary information and stimulate further our development and creativity. However, the sensory perception of an adult is very, very different from the sensory perception of a child. Now, in their purest forms, children have a special sensitivity to absorb information through their senses, then categorize it, and create mental order and orientation of the things in their environment. So that's their special sensitivity. Now, let's understand the benefits of sensorial learning. I cannot, I need to emphasize before I tell you how you can implement sensorial learning. It is important for you as educators to first understand why sensorial learning, why you need sensorial learning in your classrooms. So the first point is it develops nerve connection. A newborn baby's brain has 100 billion neurons. Let me specify it. It's 100 billion neurons. Now, as these neuron grows, the synapses, or you can also say the connections between the brain cells increase accordingly. Now, what are synapses? Synapses are basically small pocket of space between the two cells where they can pass messages to communicate. Now, a single neuron generally contains or includes thousands of synapses. So, there are 100 billion neurons in a child's brain, and each neuron has thousands of synapses. Now, how does sensorial nerve helps here? It basically builds nerves connection in the brain's pathway by promoting activities that stimulate their senses. And this will further increase the child's ability to accomplish more intricate tasks in the future. But synapses may also decrease if the brain eliminates these links that are rarely or never used, which means if you are not giving sensorial activities to children in the early age, early years, there are high chances that synapses might also decrease. So the space between the two brain cells will reduce. Next, it enhances memory. Now, studies show that using only the auditory approach of teaching makes the brain easily forget a piece of information. Now, let's get back to the saying that Confucius said, a philosopher said that I hear, I forget. So that's what I said. By the end of this workshop, you will understand why that saying is so important. So studies have shown, so simple chalk and talk method where the teacher is either writing on the board or just talking, that really doesn't work with children will forget that piece of information. And one of the benefits of sensorial learning is that it enhances the child's ability to retain the concepts or the lessons that you're teaching by allowing them to learn through experience. So I hear a lot of time educators saying that the child has retention problem. The child is unable to retain the information. Then here, check. You as an educator need to check if you are involving all the senses of the child in learning. Okay, before putting a label onto a child, check, is my lesson plan catering to all the needs, all the sensorial needs of a child? Very important. And child's motor memory will be improved by practice. So you keep giving them sensorial activities, and with practice their motor memory will also improve. Next, it promotes critical thinking and problem solving. So sensorial learning basically introduces a child to different enjoyable activities that actually sometimes make them wonder how these things are happening. So these activities are designed to give them a healthy amount of stress that arouses their problem solving abilities. We all know that there are two type of stress: the good stress and the bad stress. The bad stress is more about verbal abusing or hitting or criticizing the child, and that affects the child's brain development, which eventually affects their critical thinking and problem solving skills. However, I clearly mentioned that sensorial activities are designed to give them a healthy amount of stress. Now, what do you mean by healthy amount of stress? These are the challenges that you give children through activities, the difficult tasks that you give children, which actually helps them, in critical thinking, because they're constantly looking at different ways to deal with the problem, and also eventually helps their problem solving skills. So that's the importance of sensorial learning. Next, it helps in calming the child. Let us all accept that in every classroom we have children who have high energy, or who are crying, or who are very sensitive and again starts crying. So we all have such children in our classrooms. Now, crying is a very healthy brain development that all our children go through it. Okay, so when your child, a small tip here, when a child in your class is crying, just don't ignore them, or just say, stop crying. Give them that attention that they require. Tell them that I understand you are upset, and acknowledge, because it's also a healthy brain development activity. So sensorial activities are a fun way that helps in controlling their agitation and restlessness. As we said, we all have children who are very restless, and sensorial activities really, help them calm their restlessness. It can ease their discomfort and calm their anxiety. These activities aim at introducing them to new learnings without overstimulating them. So educators, take a note of it. Note down if you want it. During the initial days when a child is going first time attending a school, the first few weeks are very, very difficult for the child. The child is very anxious, restless, crying. Trust me, these sensorial activities will really help them to settle. You can use sensorial activities to really settle them down. I'll show you one of the activity that our teachers, the teachers in my school have made. Um, I will show it at the end, because right now we are just sharing the screen. At the end, I will show you some of the calming activities that teachers have created. Next, it reinforces childhood development. Now, according to a study conducted by scientists, language skills are developed most easily during the first 10 years of a child's life. Do you all agree with that? Yes, the child learns language at a very early age. Now, it is also during these first 10 years that they acquire cognitive growth and motor skills. And all this happens with the help of language. So language development, cognitive development, motor development are all interconnected and linked with each other. And the first 10 years are very, very crucial in this development. Now, sensorial learning exposes children repeatedly to activities and experiences that reinforce their brain development, that allows them to talk, that allows them to interact, that allows them to really remember a concept, and really helps them in fine motor development and gross motor development. And last point here is that sensorial learning support social skills. Sensorial development allows child to enjoy working together, with other children, and establish strong social interactions. It gives them a sense of belongingness, that it develops their compassion and equips them with the better communication skills. Because sensorial activities can also be done in a group with 2 or 3 children, playing together. Their verbal and non-verbal interactions will provide them with an excellent foundation to become better people as they grow older. And unfortunately, in this digital age, more and more young children are exposed to computer games that lack the essential use of all senses. So, as educator or as parents, it is our responsibility to act and to provide them with a solid foreground for schooling. And it is vital right now to instill physical and mental engagement in their education. And this all can happen if you have sensorial learning in your classroom or in your school. Yes, So I hope you have got an idea about the benefits, the all these benefits of sensorial learning that a child gets while the child is using all the five senses to learn a concept. Now, what I have done is, in further, I will take each sense and tell you that when a child learns through this particular sense, sense organ or senses, then what is its advantage? And for each sensory organ, I have given some activities that you can do in your classroom. At the end, I will also share some ideas on how to teach letters through sensorial learning. And after which, I want all of you to create a small lesson plan, taking any concept, numbers, alphabets, animals, whatever concept that you want, select a concept. And then I want you all in this workshop, in this live workshop, to plan a small lesson plan through sensorial learning. So now it's very important for you all to be alert and understand these next few slides. Okay, importance of every sense and related activities. So through sight, when a child is learning through sight, the child will learn to develop close relationships with important people in their life. They develop hand-eye coordination. Without using their eyes, they cannot develop hand-eye coordination. And they develop physical skills. They also learn to judge how far away the objects are. So all this happens through sight, when the child is learning through sight. Now, when children play games that involve sight, they are practicing early literacy skills. Sight games help children recognize words, recognize patterns, objects, colors, and help them develop their memory. Why do we use flashcards in our classroom? We all have pictures and flashcards because children learn better through sight as well. When they are using sight as one of the sense to understand the concept. Now, some of the activities that you can do is matching games. Play matching games with the child, with involves, you can also play with cards or have real objects. Now, when children play these matching games, they are actually working on visual discrimination skills. Because what happens, when they see an apple, they see an orange, they are trying to differentiate the difference between the two objects. Yeah. So matching games are wonderful for toddlers, for playgroup, for nursery, and slowly you can increase their difficulty level as the grade level increases. Next, play I Spy. I Spy is such an old school game, and children enjoy playing I Spy even today. So play I Spy with them. You can just have, you can also use it as an energizer, where you tell them that, okay, I spy a green color object which is kept on the cupboard. Anything, you can use your concept, differently to and play this game with children. So you can also do, while reading a book, or while taking part in everyday activities with the child, ask the child what are the things that the child is sees different on these pages, or throughout the house, and if you're taking them outdoors, what are the things that they are seeing that are different. So I Spy is a fantastic game that you can play with children. You can also have optical activities and illusions. So to teach a child how his or her eyes work and how our eyes sometimes play trick on us, experiment with optical activities and illusions. For this, what you can do is either you can make a kaleidoscope, or if you can also note it down, you can also play or buy Froebel's gift number 2. It is fantastic for optical illusion and optical activities. So you can note this down if you want. So that these are some of the activities that, for sight. Next, smell. Through smell, children will learn to develop an awareness of their world. They attach sometimes a feeling to a smell. They feel safe and comforted. So children will learn very quickly what you smell like, if you're using a particular perfume, or and this smell will actually make them feel safe. So children, the sense of smell is very strong in children. So it develops a lot of awareness about their world. So involving the sense of smell is extremely important, especially if you're teaching them about environmental studies, where you are teaching them about the world. Involve the sense of smell. So over the time, children will recognize certain smells as comforting. Then some yummy. If mama is making a sweet or baking a cake, they all can smell it. Some, if they had any bad experiences, it can also be, some smells can be scary. Some can be very, very exciting. So experiment with the scent and the smells that the child recognizes, and those that are more unfamiliar. So how you can do that? Blindfolded smell test. So blindfold the child. If not blindfolding, or if the child is not comfortable, you can just close the eyes of the child. So blindfold the child and place some familiar scents under his or her nose. It can be a chocolate, coffee, cinnamon, paint, whatever you have in your classroom, and ask the child questions such as, what do you smell? What are you smelling? Do you recognize the smell? Does it remind you of something else? So ask a lot of questions, so that you will understand that whether the child is able to smell it properly and identify the object. Next, scratch and sniff. Collect some flowers, spices, or herbs that have a very, very strong smell. And you can stick some of them on the cardboard or index cards, and you can have the child guess what smell it is, or you can use these cards for matching or memory game. Next is combining smells. Have the child smell approximately 10 things he or she is familiar with. It could be anything, it could be a rose, a coffee, a chocolate, a cake, pudina, coriander, methi, whatever herb spices you can mix. Select 10 items and let the child, smell all the 10 items that you have selected. Now, together you can come up with the list of items that the child can smell. And now what you can do is mix at least two smells together, and have the child guess which two are paired together. You can have both the objects together. So if you're taking rose and if you're taking coffee, you can have them together and allow the child to smell. And then what you can do is, you can ask the child what are they smelling. Can he or she correctly guess the combination, or can he or she pick out each smell and identify the object? So you can have fun naming you can also combine the smells and give them names. You can do a lot of things with combining smells. So these are some of the activities for smell. Next, hearing. So through sound and voices will help your child to tell one sound from another. They can recognize familiar voices and sounds that actually soothe them or stimulate them. They attach again a feeling to a sound. They learn about words and how to have conversation through hearing, and they develop thinking and listening. So let me add one point here. Uh, how does a child learn a language? So it is a cycle of LSRW. wherein L stands for listening, then speaking, then reading and writing. So listening is the first step for the child to learn the language. It could be, mother tongue, or it could be English, it could be anything. But listening is the first step of learning a language. So that's how important, hearing is. And what happens is, when I say attach a feeling to a sound, they actually relate to your sound. If they are listening to you every day, they can identify your sound or your voice easily among many voices that they hear around. So hearing also is extremely important sense that needs to be a part of your lesson plan or your concept. Now, children use their ears to take in information about the things around them. Like other skills that children learn, listening also takes practice. And I'm sure you will all agree with me that there are some adults that also need listening practice. Okay. We all also sometimes are not good listeners. So we all need practice to become good listeners. Now, developing good listening habits help children get important information from family members, teachers, friends, um, whoever is around them. So listening is such an important task, and also has become one of the difficult tasks nowadays, because no one is ready to listen to each other. Everyone wants to put their point. So but we as educators, as parents, need to inculcate listening habit in children. And how can you do that? Listening games. Play board games or card games with the child to see how good he or she is at listening to the instructions and the things that are going in the game. Ask the child questions about choices throughout the game. Lot of listening games that you can add, while you can ask a lot of questions when the game is going on, to just understand whether child has understood the game or not, or the child has heard the instructions clearly. Patterning. So using your hands or another object, you can make clapping patterns together. So you can have a, start with very simple, where you clap one and the child also claps. Then you can have 1, 2, and then slowly you can increase 1, 2, 1. Okay, you can go slow, fast, you can go soft clap, or a loud clap, however you want. So you can create a lot of patterns with claps. You can also use in musical instruments or some objects that you have. So ask the child the following questions after doing patterns through clapping, or through bells are also very calming for children. So even if you have please keep bell, when the period gets over, instead of shouting on top of your voice, that we are there's a next period, you can just ring a small bell. Even if the children are not listening to you, sometimes just ringing the bell actually calms them down. So bell is also a good thing to keep it in your classroom. So which sequence was harder to repeat, the clap or the bells? When you are using different things, you can ask these questions to children. Which sound do you prefer to listen to, a clap, a bell, or a loud noise? So ask these questions. You can also take children to a sound hike. I have just given it a cool name here. Basically what it is, when children are outdoors, or in your classroom, or if you're going for a field trip, or a mall or a park, ask children to notice the sounds they hear, and then use sound words as they write it in the notebook. So since we work with preschool children, you can ask them to identify the sounds in their environment and also name the sounds. So these are some of the activities for hearing. Next is taste. So through taste, your child will learn to develop an awareness of their world. They learn to speak. They feel secure and comforted. We all have some comfort food. Okay, like dal and rice is my comfort food when you are low, or when you are anxious. There are some foods that calm you down. So there are some foods that make children feel secure and comforted. They develop an awareness of food. They develop hand-eye coordination, and they also recognize the hunger and the fullness of the tummy through taste. So children develop taste preferences based on what they are fed when they are in the early years of their lives, helping children think about which taste they do and do not prefer. However, we'll encourage them to try new foods or new combinations of foods. So how you can have tasting activities in the class. Make a salad. As you add different vegetables and different ingredients, you can ask the child what the child sees in the bowl. Pick out different ingredients and allow the child to take a bite of each one. Allow the child to taste the different ingredients. Ask the child question about creations, like, what do each of the ingredient taste like? Have you had this ingredient before? Do you like the way it tastes? Does it remind you of something that you have eaten? So whichever activity you are doing, whether it is for smell, taste, hearing, seeing, ask questions, when they are experiencing it. So that also helps build their vocabulary. Next, identify foods. So gather up different foods, preferably the children that the food that children enjoy, and have each child taste each food and guess what it is, as because they will be blindfolded, okay, or the eyes will be covered. So while the child is tasting, discuss certain words such as sweet, salty, sour, bitter, fruity. Introduce them to these words, because when you use these words, it will help them understand the meaning of this words. So if you are allowing them to taste lemon, so you can say, does it taste like a sour? Is lemon sour? So they understand that, okay, when it is khatta, it is sour, okay. So identifying foods is it's fantastic. Next is try a taste test. What you can do here is to teach children about tongue and different tastes. Place approximately 1 teaspoon of different ingredients in different cups, and use these ingredients like salt, sugar, honey, lemon, or grapefruit. Add few drops of water to the dry ingredients. Dip a spoon into each ingredient and have the child touch it to different areas of their tongue. Okay. You make sure that you rinse the spoon differently for the child, because talk with the child about how our taste buds affect, why we are only able to taste certain flavors on certain areas of our tongue. I think we as adults also need to today go and after this workshop, try this experiment. You will be amazed to experience that we cannot taste the same taste at different parts of our tongue. So you can also do this activity with children. Next is touch. Touch will help your child to feel calm and loved. They feel relaxed and settled. Sometimes just a hug or a pat on the back, really calms the child. Through touch, children learn about objects and the world around them, and they also develop thinking skills. So children learn about their bodies, about and how to communicate with others through touch. Most of the feeling that we do happen through our it does happen mostly through feet and hands. Taking part in activities where children feel with their feet and hands help them learn about the world, help them learn how to write, help them learn to button their shirts, tie their shoes, and lot of life skill activities happen through touch. So what are some of the activities that uh, we all can do in school? Feeling with your feet. One tip, whichever sensory activity you are doing, whichever sense you are using, make sure that you cover their eyes. Okay, so have the child barefooted, feel the things with his or her feet, and think about the way it feels. Some things that you may wish to have a child feel are, it could be a play-doh, it could be sand, it could be grass, it could be a carpet, it could be a paint, it could be mud. Let your child feel all these things through their feet. Then you can ask questions to, to children about what he or she is feeling. What does it feel like? Is it smooth, it is soft, it is hard, it is rough? Use a lot of these words. Do you like the way it feels? Okay, you will also come to know if the child does not like any of these feelings. uh, you can also ask them whether it is cold, whether it is hot. Does this feeling tickle your feet? Do the same activity again with your hands, with the hands as well. Next is pillow play. Pillow play, or you can call it as magic box. So what you can basically what it is you place familiar objects inside an empty pillowcase. If you don't have a pillowcase, you can put it in the batwas or a cloth bag. Then you allow the child to guess what the objects are. Help the child describe how each object feels, because the child is constantly touching and feeling the objects. And the child will actually try to identify what object it is. So you can also vary the activity by using, holiday or seasonal items, or items with a theme such as animals or shapes. So if you're teaching shapes, you can have shape blocks that we get. You can put it inside and allow the child to touch, feel, and identify the shape. You can also do it for animals. You can do it for shapes. You can do it for Diwali also. You can put a diya inside and allow children to, touch and feel and, identify the festival. Next, and the most important thing, this is my favorite, make a mess. Okay, let the child play with materials like clay, water, sand, rice, play-doh, lot of things, rava. Let your child mess around, let the child play, let the child explore the feel of these items and describe how they feel. Make sure to find an outdoor area or an indoor area where it is safe to get messy, but it is extremely important for children to get messy. Next is, as I promised, I will show you, how you can teach letters through sensorial learning. Okay, so when you are taking a concept, so what I'll just explain you this. So here, this is an example of teaching letter S through these through sensorial activities. So first is visual or your sight. You can use real objects like soap, socks, or you can also use flashcards. I would suggest all the educators to first use as many real objects as you can and then go for pictures. Of course, you can't show them snake and you can't show them sun. So for that, you can definitely use pictures. But objects that you feel like, don't show them the picture of a soap or a sock. Rather, show them the real object so that when they go home, they can connect it better. Next is touch. Let them touch and feel real objects. So when you're bringing soap and socks to show them, just don't show it to them and leave it. Allow them to touch and feel. You can also get in strawberries, sunflowers, sand. You can allow them to touch. Touch will also include your sandpaper letters. Okay, and then if you are teaching them to write letters, you can allow them to write letters in sand or rava. Next is hearing. Hearing is such important part when it comes to learning letters, because nowadays we all use phonic program, and phonic is nothing but listening or identifying the letters through sounds. So sound of letter, you can also do rhymes and stories for each letter, and you can also do alliterations for each letter. Next is taste. Let them, taste sandwich, strawberry, star fruit. So taste comes here, and then smell. They can smell strawberry, they can smell soap, they can smell sunflower. Now, if you actually see, if you are teaching a particular letter for a week, You can actually have one activity each day, and have children involved in all 5 senses. So these are some of the activities for letter S. And similarly, you can do it for animals, you can do it for shapes, you can do it for numbers. Lot of things that you can do. Sometimes taste can be sometimes a little difficult for some topics, but try and include as much as you can. If you are unable to find it, that's perfectly fine, but at least the other 4 can definitely be be included in your lesson plan. So when you say smell with numbers, so keep some lemons in front of your child and ask them to smell only 2 lemons. Ask them to, there are chocolates kept, ask them to pick and eat only 3 chocolates. Okay, so a lot of things that you can do in sensorial learning. So now what I want all of you to do is, I'll give you 5 to 10 minutes of time, and I'll first stop sharing my screen. And I want all of you to create a small lesson plan on sensorial learning. Take any topic you want, whichever you want, and make a lesson plan for your classroom. And then if you have any questions, then I'm anyways here. So I'll first stop sharing. Yeah, and let us create a lesson plan. I'll give you 5 minutes of time, and if you have questions, you can put it in the chat box and I will answer the questions. Okay, as of now there are no questions, but I want all of you to please make a small lesson plan. Take any letter, take any number, take animals, take shapes. We can do it for states of water. Yes, definitely. Thank you for giving that. Thank you, Janvi, for giving that idea. Yes, you can definitely do it for the states of water. Pick up any topic. You can pick up animals, you can pick up plants, number, and ask me if you have any questions.
Greshma, I'll request Mona if she's there. Mona, till the time the delegates are making their lesson plan, Mona, you can have a conversation with Greshma. You can discuss what comes to your mind. Pick up any letter and try to make a lesson plan so that, we can have that time with some insight also.
Yes. So where they can touch the ice and liquid state of water, they can drink and they can see the steam. Yes, fantastic. Sensorial learning for hot and cold. Yes, definitely. Hot and cold. Very easy.
So teachers are getting creative, ma'am.
Yes.
So personally, I believe teachers are born creative, and what you did is you triggered that creativity. So now coming. Concept learning for soft and hard.
Of course, fantastic. This is you can have all all the senses here for soft and hard. Thank you, Varshita, for sharing 2 topics here. I would also want you to note down the activities that you can do, like for soft, what you want them to eat, for hard, what you want them to eat. They can touch the leaves, smell the flowers. Yes, absolutely, Hiral, for plant kingdom, or plant as a theme. You can use all the senses. Come up with the activities also, big and small, of course. Big and small, they can smell a big orange and a small lemon. They can smell, they can eat, they can touch.
Teddy
Yes. Yeah, Teddy, just 1 minute. Teddy and soft jelly for eating and how they taste. Okay, nice. For smell, they can smell syrup. Okay. Learning for different colors and shapes for sensorial. Okay, yes. Colors and shapes are children's favorite topic. And what we do is, when children are actually entering our school for the first time, when they start the school, the early days when they are settling, we use shapes and colors to actually calm them down, because it's a fantastic topic. They are drawn towards colors. Sink and float. Yes, fantastic. I was supposed to show you some calming activities that our teachers have made, and I would like to show you, since the screen, I'm not sharing the screen. So Varshita also says, for shapes and colors we can create pattern and ask them what comes next, of course. So do you see this?
Lovely.
Yeah, we can use this to calm them down. Again, sensory. They are using their eyes here. And you can also, give them, so there's glitter in this, there is water in it. You can also later on give them to touch and feel. But just looking at them sometimes, just calms them down. We also heard about the pillow game. You can also create a magic box like this and have all the things inside, and show them or smell them one by one. There are some more things. These are all made by the teachers of my school. Again, this is for noise. So this is for visual, this is for noise. Fantastic things, and very these are not expensive things. Again, for noise, so you can also introduce them to different noise. So this is rice and this is suji. So the different sounds that come from different objects.
Lovely. Yes, ma'am. This helps to develop their concentration too.
Yes, definitely.
Not just kids, adults also can get calm by these activities.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, calming bottles. Okay, I missed a lot of messages when I was showing it. So exploring kitchen. Yeah, so Jagruti says, I took plant as a theme. Cite real plants through field trip. Okay, nice. You can play Simon, of course. Very, again, one of the old games and brilliant games. Yes, calming bottles, best thing to calm them down. To calm them down, we made glitter jars having different shapes. Yes, of course. Calming jars. Next, we can do fast and slow play. Okay, listening rattles made from seeds. Yes, feely bag is what we use. Yes, of course, you can use feely bag. We can give them play-doh to enhance their pincer grip. Yes, touch different barks of different stem. Thank you, Jagruti, for sharing. I really like that activity. It's brilliant. Mandala art. Okay, mandala art, yes, but with the age group that we are working, gets a little difficult. Maybe a grade 1 children can do it, but definitely you can try if it works for the children. Smell flowers, leaves, taste fruits. Yes, different vegetables for different textures. Yes, karela, uh tomato, and also what happens, I've seen that sometimes, because children are so amazed by teachers, and they really like their teachers. Sometimes some vegetables introduced in school, they want to go home and try it. So yes, that's how they also develop different taste of, otherwise at home they might not try it, but if the teacher is showing them something in the school, they'll go home and try it. So that you can definitely do it. Thank you, Maheshwari, for sharing that idea. Brilliant ideas coming up. I'm so happy to see such amazing ideas coming up.
Day or night to teach.
Yeah, teach day or night. Yes. So I think fantastic ideas coming up. If you have some questions, I can answer it. If you have any doubts, I am there on Facebook. Yes, concept of wet and dry. Yes, you can definitely try that. I am there on Facebook. I'm there on LinkedIn. You can contact me anytime. I'll be happy to help you out. Let them stand in front of the mirror and ask them to make faces. Yes, of course. You can teach emotions through that. You can also help them gain self confidence and self esteem. Brilliant ideas coming up.
I would like to request delegates over here that if they have any questions, any confusion related to how to introduce or how to teach some activities if they have in mind but cannot implement. So any questions related to your sensorial teaching part, you can just put the questions over here also. So, ma'am, till they just think about the questions and put them up, I would like to say that it was a bag full of knowledge for all of us. And summarizing the whole session today, I would say the way you started with what is sensorial learning, because personally, I believe that when it comes to lesson plans, teachers concentrate more on the writing and reading part and the grip part, but I have seen that sensory has always taken a back seat because lesson plan syllabus khatam karna hai jaldi 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 jaldi.
Yes,
So
unfortunately.
experiential learning part always takes a back seat, but believe me that I personally feel that experiential learning done well will make the lesson plans for reading and writing too easy for you all. So here I would say, ma'am, the lovely way you explained us why is sensorial learning important, the benefit of sensorial learning, and my most favorite tip which you gave here, and I personally agree to that, is do not label a child. Involve them in sensorial learning activities. You will know that there are plus minus of some activities, but all in all they have different learning patterns. So before checking them out with all the activities, do not label a child.
Yeah.
Then how solving difficult task helps. Like sometimes we feel ke ha yaar wo kaise karega, wo nahi kar payega, but just give it to them. They have their way of doing things. So, and ma'am, when you said that don't ignore a crying child and acknowledge them, talk to them, that was a point which I would always ask teachers to concentrate on, because there is always that silent child, crying child who actually needs your attention. Do not ignore that child and give special attention to them. As you said, ma'am, all of us need to be good listeners, because if everyone will be just talking like me, what I'm doing right now, and thank to the delegates, they're listening to my blah blah blah. So need to be a good listener. Then the clapping activity, which was another favorite of mine, because as I said, that would develop a concentration also. Then covering eyes, that tip which I realized lately, yes, I need to implement that. So in my institution, that covering eyes for any sensorial activities, I'm taking that with me. So, and would like to share that we celebrate messy day at our school.
Okay.
Really, we celebrate it as a day, and the kids are like enjoying full on. Lastly, I love the way where you merge letters into sensory. So this is where our teachers would be like happy. Letter sikha diya, bahut easy ho gaya letter sikhana bhi. So all in all, ma'am, you justified what you said is I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, and I do and I understand. So I would ask all the delegates that give due importance to sensorial learning in your lesson plans. And thank you so much, Greshama ma'am, for this lovely, insightful session. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, thank you for being wonderful audience to all the delegates. Thank you, Mona and Pooja, for being such a wonderful host, and thank you, Harsha ma'am, for having me here today. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Very, very well organized. The entire event is very well organized, and I know you have back-to-back events going on. So the TI team, kudos to you for organizing such a wonderful event for all the educators.
Thank you, Greshama ma'am.
Pooja, just a minute. I'm interrupting you. There are some questions in the Q&A
Yeah, that was
box.
I was about to say. There are a few questions in the QA comment box.
Perfect.
Okay, let me just see. I'll just see. So, have I missed? For letters, what lesson plan can you plan? I just showed that slide. Do you want me to show it once again? Can mirror image issue can be rectified by sensorial learning? Yes, you can use sandpaper letters for it, where the child is actually tracing on the sandpaper letter. Now when the child traces on the sandpaper letter, that whole drawing, or that the letter, the impression of the letter is in the child's brain. So definitely sandpaper letters will help rectify that issue. Yeah, I think Pooja has said that. Jagrati is saying sensorial learning is the long lasting learning. That's why it is very important. So thank you. Thank you.
Greshma, it is
Yes.
in the Q&A box. There are some questions. I'll just read out one of the questions. Janvi Dhruv has asked.
Huh.
Also, free play in the sandpit, which is considered to be a sensorial learning.
Yes, it is considered to be a sensorial learning, because child is using all the senses. And free play, I think we all here, the educators will agree that it is one of the best time the child has it in the school, and make sure that free play is part of the child's everyday. So yes, it is part of a sensorial learning, because child is using a lot of senses to do free play.
Wonderful. Thank you, Greshma. And one question for Mona here, when she mentioned that she celebrates Messy Day. So Mona, the delegates want to know what kind of activities do you plan in your Messy Day? So Mona, this question you will have to take up.
Yes, yes, sure. Would be happy to
Has Mona frozen?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, seems that she is freeze now.
Greshma, can you take up that? Can you give some ideas till Mona resumes back?
sure. So we celebrate something called International Mud Day in our school, where we kind of get a lot of wet mud for children. And sometimes understand, we ask parents to send them in old clothes, because they are going to get messy. So parents are also happy that their uniforms are not getting strained. But sometimes in messy day, or in a day where they are playing with mud, they actually don't need any of the activities. Sometimes uninterrupted and uninstructed play is very important. Especially, let them play on their own. You can have wet mud, give them wet mud, give them paints. You can have different corners or different areas. If you have an outdoor, give them paints, let them get messy with paints, then messy with mud. A lot of these things that they don't generally get a chance to get messy with. So not but don't have any particular activities as such. Just let them be on their own, enjoy and have fun.
Greshma, thank you for such tips. And there's one more question which Hina is asking. Hina is asking that sensorial learning can happen for primary students as well.
Yes, it can happen, definitely. And I feel we should all add sensorial learning in primary years also. You can select, maybe not for all topics, but some topics you can definitely have sensorial learning. When you're teaching them 3D shapes, when you're teaching them concepts in EVS, you can definitely have sensorial learning for primary.
Perfect. Wonderful answer, Greshma. Pooja, kindly take it forward.
I think there is one more question. Is it
Yeah, okay.
Janvi is asking, is it mixed media a part of sensorial learning, mixed media. Sorry, if you could elaborate on that. What is mixed media?
I think mixed medium. She must be asking mixed medium.
Matlab medium, even I was confused with that question, so I did not pick that question.
Okay. No problem. They can contact me later if they still have.
Mixed items. Mixed items. She said.
Mixed items can also be a part of. So you can have sand and sand in a big tray, and inside you can have all animals. If you're doing an animal concept, you can have all animals, hidden in it. If you are doing, if you're teaching them textures, okay, let them go and pick up different things and put it in a sensorial, a tray, and let them pick it up. So yes, even mixed items can be a part of sensorial learning. Thank you for sharing that. I think Charmi is giving some ideas like cotton stick leaves. Yes, you can definitely use that.
Perfect. Greshma, thank you so much for such prompt answers. Thank you so much. Pooja, you can take it forward.
Yeah, thank you, Harsha ma'am. So once again, ma'am, Greshma ma'am, thank you so much for this lovely topic, and you have explained to the core of it. And I thanks the delegates once again. You will be receiving your certificates through mail. Kindly subscribe our YouTube and like our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page. So as the time is for departing, but 19th we meet again with a rock star, Khushbu ma'am. She is lovely, and I can guarantee you, like as I guaranteed for Reshma ma'am's seminar, so the same way I guarantee you that it's going to be very wonderful. We are going to learn lots of things, because she is very bubbly speaker. I have heard her, so I can guarantee. And we are going to have lots of knowledge from physical activities and a dhamal in the session on 19th. Same time we'll log in. And thank you, Greshma ma'am. I thank TI team for this wonderful TTLF